I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity Top Gun Sales Bootcamp Training. Let's dive right in and we'll get started with Nora. What you got?
My numbers for yesterday were 22%.
And so, in my sleep last night, um, there's, there's this hour, there's this day, there's this week, there's this month, there's this year, there's this decade. So there's different, it's almost like looking at the earth from an airplane. You know, when you're closer to the ground, it's the same earth, but it looks differently. And so there used to be Mike Katura. He was a guy that worked with Synergy for over 22 years, and he had autism. Interesting guy. Um, and one of the things that I learned with him is that I would like he'd get all upset about stuff. And I'm like, that's just weird. Like he'd get upset about stuff that I didn't think he really needed to. And then he wouldn't get upset about the stuff that he would, or he wouldn't handle getting upset. So what I learned is he'd get upset about something and um, I'd be like, Mike, it's not that big of a deal. And I'd get him settled down. And then he'd be settled down. And then I'd be like, it's a huge issue. Seriously. And he'd be like, so I think in life, we all have autism. We're all on the spectrum. And so I think when we learn to go ahead and get out in front of reality, there's reality-based thinking. And reality-based thinking is like the do any of you remember if we've gone have we gone through the seven card story from Tom Kuntz?
Yeah.
I would think we had. So when Tom told me that story, I'm like, yeah, for sure. I don't have the discipline that guy had. Like we talk every day about know our numbers. Man, that guy knew it, and man, did he have confidence in his numbers. And was he disciplined? Far, far more than I am. I mean, far more than I am. And so, like, I can't wait for the PPA, in life GPS CRM. And we took a look at it yesterday, and it's really cool. Where every day at the end of the day, you get a report and you see, I did great today. I'm doing terrible for the week. I'm doing great for the month. I'm doing terrible for the quarter. To be able to see things and then to look in and say, okay, how do I change that? How do I alter that? What do I do on that? So I'm excited for that coming up. It's neat to be a part of that project. Anything else, Nora, you have?
Nope.
Becky, what you got?
My thing was like 21% or something like that.
Okay. So, any thoughts or questions on that?
Well, like the pressure point, the PPA, like it's crazy how you make one little thing different and your percentages go up.
Isn't that and or one little thing and it doesn't go up, it goes down or something. Like if I love that you know enough about the like you're looking at it. That's the whole like you're studying and you're going, how does like a child, like how does that work? What am I looking for here? Why can't I find it? Um, Here it is. So learning how to be self-disciplined, learning how to be self-disciplined, um, and disciplining oneself is a hard thing. So when we look at this, the next dimension principle, so the cheerleader coach, the amiable encourages you. The teacher coach, they teach you. In this dimension, what do you need to do? The coach, the level 3, they're like a football coach, and they'll bench you, they'll push you, they'll get in your face, they'll make you laugh, cry. They're all over. And then the Navy SEAL coach, is going to go ahead and just like you don't miss, you just don't. You don't ever make a mistake. So, Nora, in flying, how do they handle that?
You mean making a mistake?
Yeah.
Like you can make mistakes, but some are just ones you don't want to make, like on final.
Is that what they teach you?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, Becky, like, did you apply this, self-apply this, your own coach? Like, you got 21%. How did you respond to that?
I don't know.
Both you and Nora. Like, so you guys are both, in that 20% range. Which of the 4 are you going to apply?
Which one do you apply when you're a little, I don't know, ticked off?
If you're asking me which one I apply, most of the time it's always the Navy SEAL.
Okay.
That's me. That doesn't mean it's you, right? But some people, when they're ticked off, what will they apply? The level 1 or level 2. They'll explain themselves, or they'll go, "Well, I need a break." They'll move into the 9Ds. So the 9Ds are really interesting: distract, divide, defer, deflect, defend, deny, destroy, deceive, disguise, equal, defeat, depression. So they come up with reasons why they didn't do things, and they're in our mind. It's always a good reason. So anything I can do to help either one of you?
I don't think so.
So all of you, what am I thinking now?
That you're a bad teacher.
Nice. Nice. Anybody else?
We're bad students.
Anybody else?
Why don't we want help?
Okay, good. Anything else? What's the difference between a goal and a commitment?
Commitment you're going to do. A goal is just a goal, I guess.
Interesting. Uh, do you think my goals are equal to other people's goals?
No, they're far higher.
Do you think my goals are equal to other people's commitments?
Probably closer to that.
See, this is what's weird to me. It seems like, sadly, it seems like my goals almost mean more to me than other people's commitments. Like when somebody, And this is where, if you're a Christian, the Bible is very clear. Let your yea be yea, your nay, nay. It doesn't say let your yea be yea, nay, nay with an explanation. It doesn't say that. It says let your yea be yea, your nay, nay. It's just yes or no. Let your yes be yes, your no, no. Like that's what it says. But nobody practices that. And so once Edward Rivera is a friend of mine in the mortgage industry, owned his own mortgage in a company. He was, in sales in the mortgage, owned his own company. He was a client, a friend. He and his kids and his family would come over to our house, and they lived in Chicago. We were about 30 miles west of Chicago. And a few years back, I went ahead. He switched. He went and became a pastor. He became a pastor. And I said to him, I was talking to him, I said, pastors just, man, they drive me crazy. He's like, he laughed. He says, why is that? I said, they have no integrity. He's like, well, Mark, they're human beings just like everybody else. I said, really? I said, really, Edward? like he's going to do that to me? And I said, how long have you and I known each other? Like over 20 years? He's like, yeah. I said, is there ever one time in 20 years that I've ever said I was going to do something that I didn't do? And he paused and he's like, no, not that I can remember. See, when you look at this here in Ford versus Ferrari, who are you? You guys remember this scene?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like when I think of that scene, I think, do any of my kids, are they like the boy, like the son? Do I have anybody in my life like the son? Like there's a crack? Yeah. You're going 200 miles an hour. How do you see the crack in the pavement? Like, that's just crazy. And he explained the science of it. It's like he's like, Dad, there's like hundreds of them. Yeah. Oh, I love that scene. Oh,
Is that where they walked out on the racetrack before the race?
yeah, at night.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, what are they talking about?
The race or the track that he's going to take for the race.
I don't think anybody's going to remember this. He's talking about the perfect lap. They're talking about the perfect lap. And then you go all the way to the end, and he's like, he did the perfect lap when he didn't even have to. He won. He was winning, and he did the perfect lap. Like the son got all excited. Nobody else knew, but the son knew and the dad knew it was the perfect lap. And it's like, so like if you go ahead and care who you are, who am I? My integrity, it matters. So if you go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and get like 30% done today versus 20%, what percentage increase in productivity is that? 50% increase. It's not 10%. It's a 50% increase in work productivity. Like, so if you don't do things, so one of the things that is so hard on me is to not see people with confidence. It hurts so bad. And people who are imposters, they'll look good to look good, but they're not doing it for themselves. They're not doing it because it's the right thing to do. And so, who am I? If I'm going to make a commitment to do 30%, you shouldn't make a commitment to do 100%. You should commit to do the things that you know you can do. That might be hard or whatever, but a commitment is a commitment. It's a vow. It's short of death. This is what you're going to do. Like, it's just like, who are you? So if you look at this, you look at hitting your numbers differently. You look at it as if it's an integrity thing. Like, this is who I am. And it doesn't matter who sees me. It doesn't matter if I never get recognition. Like, that's what I try to do with my kids, my grandkids, people around me. It's like, you do things because they're the right thing. You do things because they're the best things. You do things because they're the good things. And if nobody, and I mean nobody, sees that you're doing that, just the joy and the pleasure and the confidence that I'm doing what, like, there's no recognition. It's just pure integrity. It just goes back to the identity. It's like, who were you created to be? Be that person. Oh, this gets me excited. Like, Kenny, what you got?
Um, there's a last week we had client. We did a job. Turned out the job. Well, I noticed a flaw in the material that we used, and then I thought, well, maybe in the past it's been a maybe where we just kind of waited until the client noticed or said something. But then this job, I was like, you know what? No, we're just gonna replace it all before the client ever gets to it and says something, because I'm not happy with it, and it'll create more work on our part, affect the percentages. Um, but I don't think, yeah, and I think I know that that's what we want to do. But I don't know, how do we avoid that in the future?
There's once had a salesperson, and we had a bonus system. If she hit certain things, that she would get a bonus. And it was time when things were really tight, and I think it was like, I don't know, $2,000 or something. And there was a misunderstanding. I thought it was under this, and she thought it was something else. And I was really confident, really confident it wasn't what she said. And I went back and looked at the original agreement, and the original agreement between her and I, this was 20 years ago, probably more than, yeah, probably 25, 30 years. It was a while back. And again, things were tight, and it's like, she just wanted to hear something, and so she saw it this way, and I'm like, this is crazy. And I went back and looked at the agreement, and the agreement was not clear. It wasn't clear. For sure, it wasn't clear that hers was, but it wasn't entirely clear that mine was either. It wasn't entirely clear that mine was right either. And I said, Mark, you're the leader. You're the leader. And it's not clear. So that's on you, buddy. So we paid her. We paid her. And that hurt, because she kind of gamed the system, and it really wasn't fair what she was asking for, I didn't think. But I've never forgotten that. And so that helps me to be more intentional, more clear in my writing, because I'm going to be the one to pay. So, Kenny, when you do something like that, you and what trying to get everybody else around you, we're going to pay because it's the right thing to do. I don't know if the dopamine hits, I don't know if Nora and Becky get as excited as I am. Like, oh, did that remind either of you of anything?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Amy?
Interesting. How so?
I don't know, like she agreed to something and then
I
backed
see.
out, and then we backed down, and then she did it after all. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, nice. That's not what I was thinking, but that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, Anybody else have like Becky or Nor? There was something that happened yesterday that was so exciting. It's like, oh my goodness! Like, you guys remember that?
That Mark might get his fry pies.
Okay, it's connected to the fry pies. And what about quality? Like 300,000 fry pies a year. 300,000. That comes out to over 5,000 fry pies a week. That comes out to over 1,000 fry pies a day. And what's his biggest challenge?
Quality.
Quality. Like every single fried pie. I'm never going to eat a fried pie ever again because there's somebody there that's like, this fried pie has to be just perfect for Mark. Just perfect. And I'm so excited because I've never had a black raspberry fried pie. I hear a rumor that if I have, I don't know, 3 of them, I become Amish, something like that. Like, it's
You
just
remember his personality? That'll explain a lot.
analytic,
Double.
probably analytic,
The
right?
driver.
Right. So it's like he got passionate. He's because they're 300,000, you know, like 1,000 a day you're pushing out. And it's like they all have to be quality control. They all have to be just perfect. And it's like, so Kenny, that when you pay a price like that, hopefully it prevents it from happening in the future, but you somehow have to convey that, transfer that. He has to convey that, to the 16-year-old girls that are doing all of this work. Like he somehow has to convey the quality, the importance, the like, how do you convey that energy, that passion?
Mm-hmm.
And so you think of it like with small children, like when you interact with small children, like with Lincoln, when he obeys his mom, I get excited. Like, I'm like, ooh, you obeyed your mom. If he disobeys her, especially in front of me, this is not a good situation for him. And so, like, he's got to obey his mom. This is for his own best benefit. Yes, his mom gets benefit from it, but the most benefit comes to him. Same thing with our team members. Like, do you have a passion? Like, my identity is quality. And so, how do you get that in? So you increase the pain for yourself, and maybe nobody else will know. Now again, this is hard. What are they paying for? Like, they're not paying for a Lamborghini. They're not paying $2 million for a car. They're paying 30,000. You get what you pay for. So this is where it's hard. Like, the driver wants it fast and profitable and and the analytic wants it perfect. So there's tension between those two things in me. There's massive amount of tension. So I don't know. Your dad probably not a hugger, but I would go ahead and I would get your dad some black raspberry fry pies. I don't know what he likes, but I would give him something and say, thanks, Dad. I appreciate you. Because as an analytic, expressive, those two personalities are not. And are you really well, you are, because even if nobody sees you, the client doesn't see you, you know, you care. And that's a gift from your dad. Because Expressive does not. They're just into the fun. And so your dad built within you some type of character. And so be thankful and appreciative of him. Thank him and say, hey, Dad, thanks for helping to instill this value system. I think it's just like my mom when I was, 9 years old. And she said, you're going to make some woman the most amazing husband in the world because you're so sensitive to women. A driver analytic, sensitive to women. See, my mom got to me like if Luke, if his mom would have said the same thing to him when he was 18, he wouldn't have said, I used to be sensitive to women, but I'm not anymore. Like, what do you mean you're not? Like at 18, you should be more sensitive. You should be more sensitive at 18 than you are at 8 or 9. Like as you get older, you need to be more sensitive to women. You just do. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to doing this. I mean, a lot of benefits. And so my mom somehow went ahead and I don't know, she locked that in. Ooh, Kenny, that's an answer. Like, how do you ratchet things? You get it young and you say, that's really important. Luke, what you got?
How do you determine when to keep it professional and when to take it personal when doing sales? Like when connecting with people,
To me, it's always
like
personal. Now, what that personal means is different, so to me, it's personal. It's intimate. Sales is an intimate thing. It's like the reason they're buying is because of me. And so I'm selling and they're buying something. And what are they buying? They're buying often it's the experience. And so it's like Mel, owner of Bluegate, it's the experience. And so like Nora and I were talking the other day about the Business X-ray review and it's an intimate personal connection. And how do you get the servicing team? How do you get the servicing team to have the experience you had as a salesperson? Where it's so much sales is so much like racing a car or flying a plane. It's so much like whatever turns you on, whatever really sales is like that. It just is. It just is. It's absolutely magical to go ahead and move somebody to something that's going to go ahead and change their life forever. Or maybe just sit back and bite into that fried pie, that black raspberry for the first time in your life. And you're just like, now I know what it feels to be Amish. Like, so this, how are you guys going to make most of your money?
Developing people.
So you guys are being given a gift that you may never appreciate. Who gave me that gift? It was God directly. Like God gave me the gift. I'm not smart enough to know that. Just not. But somehow God gave me that gift when I was, actually 18. I'm just like, oh, this is how you make money. This is how you and working with, mentoring young men is hard. Not that I'm not young, don't get me wrong. But younger men, it's hard. It's so hard. There were 2 young men on Friday of last week, and Elaine was here, and it was so cool. And when they left, I said, that's why, right there. I pointed at the door. I said, Elaine, that is why, right there is why I develop but it takes years to get that experience. Like they're getting it, like they're understanding it's not all about them. They're understanding that the more I know, the more I should know that I don't know. The reward of that just gives me hope. Like it just gives me hope. Anything else, Luke, you got?
Nope.
Anybody else have anything else? So Mark, what like why did you ask that question? So it's kind of like marriage. It's a lot like marriage. Like these daily sessions, they're all cool. The consistency of it, they're all just really cool. But there are some that are, there's a lot. The analytic inside of me likes consistency. I don't like ups and downs. I do not like ups and downs. I like consistency. But, would Becca go ahead and benefit from this one? Would she get something? Would something get activated, turned on inside of her? Would something be like, dang, like, wow? What about Victor? Like, if people understood it's not about the money. Years ago, I did a values inventory. It wasn't Christian. It was just a values inventory. I was probably in my 40s, late 40s, I'm guessing, and she was in her 30s, and she was mentored by 3 billionaires, this woman. And she gave me this values inventory, and number one value that they came up out of the 30 values was spirituality. It's like with your creator. It's not Christian. It's like you created, like who created you and what were you created to become? Like that's really important. Like someday we're going to stand before our creator. We're going to give an account. I don't believe in that. It's fine. You don't have to believe. You don't have to believe in gravity. You jump out of a plane. I don't believe in gravity. You're going to die halfway down. I'm not dead. You're wrong. No, I'm just saying like, these are natural laws. They govern everything. When we understand the natural laws, we may not be happy in the short term, in the immediate, but we will in the long term. And so, and then number 30 value was money. So when I was a kid, I made a lot of money. Holy cow, I made a lot of money. And what's interesting is how did I not have money? People will say that money is the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money is the root of all evil. So you're all being trained at the highest level I know. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, when I was 26, when I was 26 years old, top executives from Citibank and Northern Trust, nationwide companies, big, huge companies, came into the president and said, you have the most advanced training program anywhere in the country. Like I was 25, 26 years old. I didn't know anything then. I mean, I did. In some ways, I was but Nora's helping me to get back up to speed and say, hey, this is what you need to do. It's bringing back my youth and my excitement and my drive. But this is the most advanced training in the world in sales. And it's not about making a lot of money. That's the result. That's the harvest. So how do you go ahead and not have a love for money? You're generous and you give it away. So I remember as a kid, so imagine this 16-year-old kid. He's got like 5 jobs. That's why I have the signature I do. At least that's what I'm saying, because I had to sign so many checks. It's just like a scribble. It's like a doctor. Like it's just, I mean, there were so many checks I was signing. I made so much money as a teenage boy. It was insane. I mean, insane. And I'm playing soccer and I'm going on a road trip. and we stop at McDonald's, and I love Big Macs, like loved them. But I would buy a fish sandwich instead because it'd save 30 cents. But I'd give away hundreds, actually thousands of dollars to the church, my dad's church, because I just thought that was the right thing to do. So I was very, very generous and gave, not because I'm good, it's just that's what you do. Like, so money doesn't captivate you, doesn't control you. So you be generous. And so you're all being trained to make a boatload of money. And it would be heartbreaking to me if that money destroyed you or some people around you. Like, it'd absolutely be heartbreaking to me. So it's not just about making a lot of money. It's how do you go ahead and give it away? How do you go ahead and be generous? How do you go ahead and invest it into things that are going to have eternal value? Like, who are you? So do the passion circle. If you haven't already, draw a circle and list everything you're passionate about. Figure out who you are. Because when you figure out who you are, life happens. And I'm telling you, it is absolutely exciting. Any questions on this, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300 outside the US 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.